Hi there! Today we're going to learn how to use clipping masks to create an effect on text. Depending on the background and options you use, this can create a pop-out effect so it looks like your text is popping out of a surface, or you can make it look like your text is being projected onto a surface. We're going to start off the tutorial with the picture of a brick wall. You can use the photo provided by Spratt from Unsplash, or you can use your own photo of a wall. Go ahead and open the photo that you choose in Photoshop. Now that we have our photo open in Photoshop, the first thing we are going to do is create a second copy of our photo by duplicating the layer. Select the layer in the Layers panel on the bottom right. Drag the layer down onto the plus icon below it. This will create a copy of the layer. Or, if you prefer, you can right-click on the layer and select Duplicate Layer. This top layer is going to contain the bricks that I use for the text, so I'm going to give it a name that makes sense to me. Double-click on the existing layer name to rename it. Now I need to add a new layer for my text. In the Layers panel on the bottom right, click the plus icon to add a new layer. Let's go select our text tool to write some text. On the left sidebar, find the text tool. If you can't find your text tool, try clicking and holding the existing tool to see if it's hiding beneath. The one that we are using is called the Horizontal Type tool. We now have the text tool selected and we are on the correct layer. Let's go to the top toolbar and set our font to be very large. I'll set mine to 1000 point. The drop down for text size is not going to have an option for such a large font, but you can manually type in 1000 into the size box. Now we'll go over to the font selection, and you can choose any font that you like. Depending on what font you choose, you may have to adjust the font size later. Let's write out the text. Click anywhere on your canvas and begin writing. You can use the Enter key to move some text to a new line, just like you would in any other program. You can also use this option on the top toolbar to center your text. Note that you'll need to first select the text that you want to center. Once we have our text, we can move it around the canvas and resize it like any other object. Click the Move tool. It is the one on the top of the left sidebar with the 4 arrows. You'll see a box around your text now. You can click inside the box and drag your text around the canvas. You can also click on a corner of the box to resize your text. Once you've positioned your text where you want it, click the check mark in the top toolbar to apply your changes. Now we need to move our layer with our text in between our 2 brick photos. Click on the text layer and drag it in between the other 2 layers. This is where we have one really easy click that does the majority of our work for us. Right-click on the brick layer that is above your text layer. Select Create Clipping Mask. This will clip or crop the brick photo based on the layer below it. Once it creates a clipping mask, it may be very hard to tell that it did anything at all. That's because the text now blends in completely with the background photo. Let's hide the background photo temporarily so that we can see our text and clipping mask more clearly. Click the eyeball next to our background layer to hide it. Now we can clearly see how the top brick photo was clipped to our text. We are going to add a drop shadow to the text layer. This will help the text to pop out of the background wall. Click on your text layer in the Layers panel so that it is selected. Then click the FX icon on the bottom of the Layers panel. Click Drop Shadow from the menu. The Layer Style panel will appear, and Drop Shadow will already be selected. You can play with the different options in this window. Opacity will change how dark your drop shadow is. Distance and size will change where your drop shadow appears. Select whichever options look best to you, and then click OK. You may want to move your Layer Style window over a little so you can see more of your canvas as you test out different options. Once we've clicked OK, we are going to turn our background layer back on so we can see how much of our text pops out of the wall. Click the eyeball next to the background layer to enable it. We can definitely see our text now, but it is still difficult to read. We need to make some adjustments to the background layer. The first layer of every Photoshop project starts with this lock icon. We should disable the lock since we are going to edit the layer. Click the lock icon to disable it. You can then rename your layer if you like, since removing the lock clears out the name. Now we are going to add an adjustment. Go to the Adjustment tab on the upper right. It may be hiding in all of these tabs over here. If you cannot find the Adjustments window, go to Window and click on Adjustments so the check mark is showing. Now it should be in the upper right panel. We are going to use the hue and saturation adjustment to change the look of the background so that our text is more visible. Click on the hue and saturation icon. You can see on the bottom panel that a new adjustment layer was added above our background layer. This adjustment is actually going to affect every layer beneath it. For us, that is fine because the background is the only layer beneath it. If you needed to make sure that it affects only the single layer below it, you'd click this icon here. I am not going to do that here since it doesn't matter for our project. Within the Properties window, we can adjust the hue. This changes the color of the background layer. For mine, I don't actually want to change the color, so I'll set this back to 0. We can also change the saturation. This doesn't change what colors show, but it changes how much the existing colors show. Again, I don't actually want to change the saturation, so I'll set this back to 0. The third option is lightness. This changes how light or dark the image is. I'm going to make mine darker so that my words pop out more. Once you are happy with your adjustment, you can click anywhere to close the Properties box. If you ever want to reopen the box and edit your adjustment, just click on the icon in your adjustment layer. Now we are ready to save and export our image. Use Save As to save this Photoshop file. This is the PSD file that you can reopen in Photoshop to make changes. Use Export to export the final image as a JPEG. The JPEG is the image file that you can share easily with others. Nice job! You now know the steps to making words pop out of a background using clipping masks. Test out your skills using the provided photo of books or use one of your own photos.